You thought he was your soulmate, didn't you? The way he looked at you, like you were the only person in the room, even when the room was literally on fire because he forgot about the pot on the stove. But hey, he brought you flowers afterward, so it's fine, right? You told yourself, this is it. This is what love feels like. And in a way, you were right. Just not the kind of love you deserve. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you laughed really hard without worrying if he'd think you were too loud? Or wore that dress you love without wondering if it's too much? See, the scary thing is these tiny adjustments, what you wear, how you speak, even how often you text your friends back, don't usually feel like red flags at first. They feel like compromise. Like you're being a good partner. But let me break it to you gently, my friend. That's not compromise. That's a slow, calculated redesign of you. Here's the brutal truth. Some people don't love you for you. They love the version of you they can mold, shrink, and control. And you know what makes them really good at it? They're experts in human psychology without ever opening a single self-help book. It starts with charm. And oh, they're so good at that. He probably knew your favorite coffee order by the third date, told you he'd never met anyone like you, and you believed it. Guess what? He says that to all his targets. Yeah, I said targets. Because this isn't dating, it's a psychological chess game. And if you're not careful, you're playing against a grandmaster while you're over there, still learning how the horse moves. But here's the plot twist they never expect. The moment you open your eyes and start spotting their little magic tricks, the game changes. In today's episode, I'm going to hand you the exact playbook these manipulators don't want you to have. How they trigger chemical reactions in your brain to keep you addicted. How their micro-expressions give them away even when their words sound perfect. And most importantly, how you can flip the script and walk away stronger, wiser, and completely untouchable. Ready to become the player, not the pawn? Let's dive into what coercive control really looks like so you'll never have to ask yourself again, is it me or is something seriously off here? Let's go. Let's get really clear on something. Coercive control isn't just a bad relationship with a few arguments over who left the dishes in the sink. Oh no, my friend. This is some next-level psychological ninja stuff. And the scariest part? It rarely starts loud. It's soft, sneaky, like that one mosquito in your room at 2 a.m. You don't see it, but it's there, slowly draining the life out of you while you try to convince yourself it's all in your head. So, what is coercive control exactly? It's not about one big explosive event, it's the death of freedom by 1,000 tiny cuts. It starts with things that seem harmless. He just worries about me. That's why he checks my location 24/7. He doesn't like me going out without him because he says he misses me too much. He's just really honest. That's why he tells me I should lose a little weight before wearing that dress. Sound familiar? At first, it looks like care, like attention, but slowly, painfully, it starts to feel like walking through life with invisible handcuffs. You don't even remember when they went on. You just wake up one day and realize you can't breathe without asking for permission. Let me give you a real-world comparison. Think about boiling a frog. Yeah, I know it's a weird example, but hang with me. You don't throw the frog into a pot of boiling water. It'll jump right out. Instead, you put it in nice, comfy, room temperature water and turn up the heat slowly. And before the poor thing knows it, it's cooked. That's coercive control. The temperature keeps rising bit by bit, and you keep convincing yourself, it's not that bad. He's just having a rough week. He didn't mean it. Things will get better. But spoiler alert, they don't. And here's the kicker, this isn't even about love. It's about power. Control. And the really dangerous ones? They don't even want love. They want ownership. They treat relationships like they're shopping on Amazon Prime. Click. Own control. The sad part? Society trains us to miss these signs. We're told that jealousy is passion, that a man wanting to protect you is romantic, that real love is about sacrifice. But nobody tells you that if you're the only one sacrificing, that's not love, that's emotional bankruptcy. So how do you know if you're in it? Simple question. Are you shrinking yourself to stay? Are you making yourself quieter, smaller, more agreeable just to keep the peace? If the answer's yes, it's time to raise that internal red flag, because real love doesn't require you to erase yourself. And don't worry, in the next part, I'm going to explain exactly why walking away feels so damn hard-driven when you know something's wrong. Spoiler, it's not a weakness, it's brain chemistry. Stick with me, because once you understand what's really going on inside that beautiful mind of yours, you'll finally see the exit door, and more importantly, you'll have the courage to walk through it. Now, I know what you're thinking. If he's really that toxic, why don't more women like me just leave? And, if it were that easy, I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here either, right? But let me hit you with a little truth bomb. This has nothing to do with intelligence and everything to do with brain chemistry. Listen, your brain is basically running its own little reality show called The Bachelor Toxic Edition. And spoiler alert, it keeps handing out roses to the absolute worst contestants. Here's why. Every time he love bombs you those grand gestures, the sweet texts after 3 days of ghosting, the random flowers when you were just about done with him, your brain releases a juicy hit of dopamine. That's the same chemical you get from chocolate TikTok likes and winning $5 on a scratch-off ticket. Feels good, right? But here's the catch. Right after the dopamine high comes the withdrawal. He pulls back, goes cold. Suddenly, you're wondering, did I do something wrong? Should I try harder? And boom, here comes the cortisol, your body's stress hormone, kicking in like it just signed up for a UFC fight. Your heart races, your mind goes on overdrive, and you convince yourself that if you can just get things back to the way they were during the honeymoon phase, everything will be fine. But let me ask you, how long have you been chasing that high? This is what we call a trauma bond. It's the same pattern we see with gambling addicts. You keep pulling that emotional slot machine, thinking the next pull, the next apology, the next "I miss you" will finally hit the jackpot. And this is where oxytocin comes crashing the party. That's the bonding hormone. After every intense fight or breakdown, he swoops back in with that "baby, I'm nothing without you" speech, and your brain goes, "Oh, he does love me." Girl, no, that's not love. That's your hormones throwing an after-party for a toxic situation, and you're the only one stuck cleaning up the emotional mess afterward. Here's the worst part, and why so many smart, educated, incredible women get caught in this cycle. Society tells you that sticking it out, being loyal, sacrificing yourself for love is noble. They forget to mention that healthy love doesn't require you to become a contortionist, bending over backwards until you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror. And if you've been telling yourself things like, "He's just going through a rough time. No relationship is perfect, right? It's probably my fault. I'm just too sensitive." Congratulations, you've just played emotional bingo and the house always wins. But guess what? You don't have to keep playing. The real question isn't, why do smart women stay? The real question is, what happens when smart women finally understand the science behind their own suffering? Because that is when things start to shift. That's when you stop seeing his random texts as romantic and start seeing them for what they are: dopamine bait. And speaking of bait, in the next section, we're going to break down exactly how these charmers hook you in with their smiles and perfectly rehearsed, just like you personalities. Spoiler, they're not soulmates, they're social engineers. Stick with Beyonce, you learn their playbook, they won't stand a chance. All right, Let's talk about the part that really messes with our heads the charm offensive. You know, that magical phase when he's basically a one-man Disney movie. The doors are held open, your favorite snacks just magically appear at his place, and you start thinking, wow, I've hit the emotional lottery. But here's the thing, he's not Aladdin, sis. He's just really good at playing the genie, and guess what? You're granting him all the wishes. Let's break this down. A real soulmate makes you feel seen because they genuinely want to understand you. A manipulator? Oh, he makes you feel seen because he's taking mental notes for later. You tell him you've always wanted a guy who's sensitive and listens. Boom, he's suddenly the most emotionally available man alive. He's quoting Brené Brown, he's so into vulnerability except, surprise, that man couldn't spell empathy if you spotted him the first 5 letters. He's mirroring you, literally. If you like hiking, suddenly he's dusting off boots he's never worn. You love indie coffee shops? Suddenly his go-to order is an oat milk lavender latte, even though 2 weeks ago he thought oat milk was some weird TikTok trend. It feels like fate, right? Like you've finally found your person. But pause for a second. How is it that he's into everything you're into? Does this man even have his own personality, or is he just the human version of a Pinterest vision board? This is where it gets really dangerous, because you start projecting all your hopes and dreams onto this perfectly packaged facade. You fill in the blanks with everything you want him to be, instead of seeing him for who he really is. And when that carefully crafted mask starts to slip, when he suddenly forgets to listen, or his sensitive side disappears faster than your last paycheck, what do? We rationalize. Oh, he's just stressed. He's got a lot on his mind. I'm probably expecting too much. Girl, if you have to keep lowering the bar just so he can clear it, maybe it's time to raise some standards instead. Here's the critical mistake most of us make: we confuse intensity with intimacy. Just because someone texts you all day, showers you with compliments, and wants to move in after 2 weeks doesn't mean they're your forever person. That's not love. That's a sales pitch with a closing deadline. Real intimacy is built slowly. It survives uncomfortable conversations. It doesn't rush you to the altar or into joint Netflix accounts by week 3. So the next time someone comes at you with that whirlwind romance energy, ask yourself, is this connection deep or just fast? Because let me tell you, fast isn't always fabulous. Fast is how we end up buying questionable stuff from Instagram ads at 2 a.m. and regretting it by morning. And trust me, waking up next to a walking red flag is way harder to return than a random $50 air fryer. In the next section, we're going to talk about the science behind why that love at first sight feeling feels so real and why your brain keeps falling for it even when you know better. Don't worry, we're just getting started. And by the end of this, you'll be able to spot a fake charmer faster than they can say, "I'm not like other guys. Stay with me." All right. It's time to roll up our sleeves and do a little self-investigation. Because let's be real, sometimes the red flags aren't waving. They're just sitting there, casually sipping coffee at your favorite cafe, wearing a leather jacket, and looking way too good for their level of emotional maturity. So how do you spot the danger before you're 6 months deep, sharing a Netflix account and wondering why you haven't seen your friends in weeks? Grab a pen, or hey, just start counting on your fingers, because if you hit 5, we've got some serious soul searching to do. Red flag number 1. They move the relationship at lightning speed. You've known this person for, 2 weeks? And somehow you've already met their mom, picked out pet names, and they're talking about your future kids like it's a group project that's due next Friday. Slow down, speed racer. Healthy love doesn't come with a countdown timer. If it feels like you're on an emotional roller coaster and the safety harness hasn't even clicked in yet, time to exit the ride. Red flag number 2. They keep tabs on you, but call it caring. Hey babe, just checking, where are you? Who's with you? Can you send me a quick pic? Sounds sweet. Until you realize you're basically living in your own personal episode of CSI, Relationship Edition. Pro tip: if your phone battery dies and you feel anxious about the interrogation that's coming, that's not love. That's surveillance. And no, you're not starring in your own reality. Television show, this is real life, and it's exhausting. Red flag number 3. Subtle criticism wrapped in fake compliments. Oh wow, you're brave to wear that dress. You're really outspoken, aren't you? That's refreshing. These are what I call complizolza compliment and insult, all mashed up into one confusing little emotional grenade. And the worst part? You walk away thinking you're reacting. Spoiler, you're not. That's just them testing how far they can chip away at your confidence before you start apologizing for literally existing. Red flag number 4. They play the victim all the time. Every bad thing that's ever happened to them, someone else's fault. The last girlfriend? Crazy. The job loss? Boss had it out for me. The unpaid parking tickets? The city's corrupt. Look, we all run into rough patches, but if this person's life story sounds like a one-man soap opera where they're always the misunderstood hero run, because when things go wrong in your relationship, guess who's going to take the fall? Yep, you. Red flag number 5. Your world is getting smaller, and you didn't even notice. Take a second and think, when was the last time you had a proper girls' night? Or saw your family without feeling guilty afterward? If every plan you make outside of this person feels like an act of rebellion, congratulations, you're not in a relationship. You're in a very stylish, emotional prison. And the worst part? They probably handed you the keys and convinced you locking the door was your idea. Now here's the plot twist. These red flags rarely show up all at once. Nope. They appear one by one, like surprise guests at a toxic party. And just like that party, the longer you stay, the harder it gets to leave. But here's your reminder, you are not a guest at someone else's emotional circus. You're the ringmaster of your own damn life. So, what do you do if you're already seeing some of these signs? Don't panic. In the next section, we're going to crack the secret code of how these people manipulate you without you even realizing it, right down to their tiniest facial expressions and body language. Trust me, once you learn to read the signs they can't hide, you'll never fall for their games again. Stay with me. We're just getting to the good part. All right, it's time for one of my favorite topics show, to spot the lies before the words even leave their mouth. Because, let's be honest, some people could win Oscars for their acting, but their faces? Oh, honey, their faces are terrible liars. That's where micro-expressions come in. These are those tiny blink-and-you-miss-it facial movements that happen in less than half a second. Totally unplanned. Totally revealing. And once you know what to look for, it's like you've unlocked the cheat code to human behavior. Let's have some fun with this. Ever had a guy tell you, "I'm totally over my ex," but right when he says it, there's that microsecond flash of disgust or sadness across his face? Boom. You just caught a lie faster than his Wi-Fi could load it. Or how about the classic smirk-cone side of the mouth lifts just a little? That's not a sweet smile, my friend. That's the "I've got you right where I want you" expression. You'll often see it right after they've guilt-tripped you into canceling plans with your friends. And here's my personal favorite, the eyebrow flash. They shoot those brows up for just a second, usually when they're trying to convince you of something they don't even believe themselves. Oh babe, I would never lie to you. Eyebrows do the cha-cha slide for 0.2 seconds. Hot, red, handed. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't about becoming the FBI at your next dinner date though, side note. That could make for a hilarious night. But it is about staying awake, paying attention, and trusting what your gut picks up before your brain starts rationalizing it away. Remember, words are rehearsed, but micro-expressions? Those are the raw, unfiltered trailer for the movie they're really starring in. And trust me, you don't want front row seats to that drama. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They ignore what they see because they're so invested in what they want to believe. So the next time someone's giving you a grand speech about how much they've changed, slow it down. Watch the eyes, the mouth, the tension in their jaw. Because the body will always tell the truth, even when the words don't. And hey, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, how did I never notice this before? Congratulations, you're officially leveling up. Now, if this hit home for you, don't keep this little superpower to yourself. Hit that subscribe button so we can keep building your emotional toolbox. Drop me a comment if you've ever caught someone's micro-expression and thought, aha, gotcha. I live for those stories. And if you know someone who's dancing a little too close to a walking red flag right now, send them this video. You might just save them a whole season of drama and their sanity. Speaking of saving your sanity, in the next section, we're diving into why that too good to be true feeling isn't just a vibe, it's a warning signal. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to slow down before you accidentally speed into heartbreak. Stay close, we're not done yet. You know that moment when you're online shopping at 2 a.m. and you find this perfect dress? It's stunning, fits every curve in the product photo. It's labeled as luxury silk, but it's $9.99 and shipping from some mystery warehouse called Happy Fashion number 47. Yeah, that's the exact energy behind too good to be true in relationships. At first, it feels like you hit the jackpot. This person checks every box on your dream partner list. Funny? Check. Smart? Check. Texts back instantly? Double check. Loves dogs, reads philosophy, and somehow also looks like he just walked off a Marvel movie set? Girl, we've hit fantasy overload. But here's the thing about fantasy, it doesn't pay rent in reality. When someone shows up looking too perfect, it's not fate, it's strategy. That's called love bombing. And it's not a cute little flirtation face, it's the emotional version of a sugar rush. Sweet, addictive, and followed by the nastiest crash of your life. Real love unfolds over time. It's slow Sunday mornings, not high-speed emotional car chases. But manipulators? Oh, they thrive on speed. Because the faster they move, the less time you have to notice the cracks in their story. Think about it like this. If someone offered you $1 million tomorrow, no strings attached, you'd immediately be suspicious, right? But when someone showers you with 1 million emotional promises, we just sit there like, wow, lucky me. And let's be honest, most of us aren't even checking the fine print. Here's the truth they don't tell you in romance movies. If someone really wants to build something lasting, they're not rushing you through the foundation stage. They're not asking for exclusivity by week 2, dropping "I love you" before they know how you take your coffee, or talking about moving in before you've even fought over which way the toilet paper should roll. Healthy relationships breathe. They have space. They let you unfold, not fold into a version of yourself that fits their agenda. So the next time you feel like someone's laying it on a little too thick, ask yourself, is this person genuinely connecting with me? Or are they just auditioning for the role of perfect partner? And trust me, if it feels like an audition, there's probably a hidden script you haven't read yet. In the next part, I'm going to hand you something even more powerful than intuition and actual escape plan for when you spot these red flags and know it's time to exit stage left. Stick around because walking away isn't just about strength, it's about strategy. And I'm about to show you exactly how to do it safely and on your terms. Let's talk about that moment, the one that sneaks up on you. One day, you're in a rom-com. The next, you're in a psychological thriller, wondering when exactly you became the unreliable narrator in your own life. Welcome to the gaslight cycle. Population? Way too many of us. At first, it's subtle. He forgets things he promised. You call him out and boom, the emotional smoke machine kicks in. Suddenly, you're the dramatic one. Babe, you're overreacting. That's not how it happened. Or my personal favorite, wow, your memory is really something, huh? And there it is. Just like that, you're standing there second-guessing the literal reality you lived through. You start to wonder, did I really say it that way? Maybe I am being too sensitive. Maybe it is my fault. Girl, no. You're not confused. You're being strategically disoriented. Here's how the gaslight cycle works. It's not one event. It's a loop, a spin cycle on high. And guess what? You're the laundry. Step 1. They mess up small or big, doesn't matter. Step 2. You call it out. Step 3. They deflect, deny, or turn the tables. Suddenly, we're talking about how you didn't text back fast enough last week, or how you always bring up the past. Step 4. They toss in a little victim, play for good measure. I'm just trying my best. You don't see how hard this is for me. By the time you're done arguing, you're the one apologizing, and you're not even sure how you got there. It's basically a mental magic trick. But instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, they're pulling accountability out of every conversation. And spoiler alert, it disappears every single time. Want to hear the most dangerous part of this cycle? You start doing their job for them. You minimize, you justify, you become the official spokesperson for their bad behavior. Yeah, he was a little rough with his words, but he's under a lot of pressure. He's just not great at expressing emotions. Or the classic, nobody's perfect, right? Meanwhile, they're over there living rent-free in your head, completely immune to accountability, while you're doing emotional gymnastics worthy of an Olympic medal. Here's the hard truth. The gaslight cycle doesn't just mess with your emotions, it rewires your reality. And the longer you stay in it, the harder it gets to tell which way is up. But listen to me. Your memory isn't broken. Your expectations aren't too high. And you, my friend, are not the problem. You're just stuck on the wrong ride. And the good news? You can step off. Because in the next part, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get off this emotional roller coaster without losing your dignity, your mind. And trust me, there's no better feeling than strutting away from the gaslight carnival and realizing, oh, that's what fresh air feels like. Stick with me, you're almost there. Okay, deep breath. Because this is the part where we stop just talking about red flags and start actually doing something about them. Welcome to your escape blueprint. No, it doesn't involve dramatic movie exits or throwing all his stuff out the window at 2 a.m. I mean, it's tempting, but we're going for classy and strategic here, not viral TikTok regret. Step 1. Secure your exit plan in silence. I know the temptation to have the big conversation is strong. You imagine yourself sitting him down, calm but powerful, delivering the "I'm done" speech like it's the final scene of a Netflix drama. But here's the thing that only works in shows where the toxic guy takes rejection like a gentleman, and we both know that's not the show you're in. Instead, think quiet ninja moves. Start pulling back slowly. Stash away important documents: birth certificate, passport, financial info. Open a private bank account if you share finances. Start reconnecting with friends and family you may have drifted from. That support system is going to be your emotional crash pad when things get tough. And most importantly, don't broadcast your plan. Remember, People who thrive on control don't like losing at, and they'll ramp up the manipulation if they sniff out you're pulling away. Step 2. Go low contact before you go no contact. If you're not in a physically dangerous situation, ease into this. Stop sharing your schedule. Get busy. Oh, I've got a lot on my plate right now. Translation: I'm creating space for me, not for your chaos. This is where you take your power back, not by fighting, but by quietly disengaging. And every time you resist the urge to reply to that guilt trip text or that sudden, too sweet, I miss you message, you're building your emotional muscle. Step 3. When you're ready, make the cut clean and final. No long explanations. No drawn-out closure conversations. This isn't a debate. It's a decision. Block, delete, move forward. Yes, it's going to sting. Your brain is addicted to those toxic highs and lows, and it's going to crave that drama like it craves caffeine on a Monday morning. But guess what? That craving fades. And every day you stay out of the cycle is a day you're rewiring your mind for peace instead of chaos. And if you're worried about what if he changes after I leave, here's the truth. If he was capable of real change, he would have shown you through actions long before you packed your emotional bags. Remember, we're not falling for the apology tour anymore. That's not personal growth. That's PR damage control. And hey, don't do this alone. There are people out there, friends, therapists, even internet strangers, who will remind you of your worth when you forget. Use them. Lean on them. Now, I know walking away feels like the end of the story, but trust me, it's actually the beginning of the good part. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about what real, healthy love looks like and how you'll know when you finally found it. Spoiler, it doesn't come wrapped in chaos. And it definitely doesn't require you to lose yourself to keep it. Stay close. Your best chapter is coming next. You know that moment when you're talking to a friend, pouring your heart out about how exhausted, confused, and small you feel in your relationship, and they hit you with, well, you know, every relationship has its ups and downs. That's just love, right? Cue the record scratch. Hold up what? Let me say this loud and clear for the people in the back. Coercive control is not toxic love. It's not passion. It's not just a rough patch. It is abuse. I know abuse feels like a heavy word. It sounds like police reports and broken dishes. But here's the uncomfortable truth: abuse doesn't always leave bruises on your body. Sometimes it leaves bruises on your spirit, and those are the ones that take the longest to heal. Coercive control is like having a silent alarm constantly going off in your head. You can't see what's wrong, but you feel it. You're walking on eggshells, editing your own thoughts before they become words, avoiding certain topics because you're just too tired to explain yourself for the 100th time. And the world loves to romanticize this nonsense. How many times have we seen movies or television shows where obsessive behavior is packaged as true love? Oh, he's just crazy about you. He's jealous because he cares. No, Brenda. He's jealous because he's controlling. And if he cared, he wouldn't be micromanaging your life like he's the CEO of You Incorporated. Healthy love doesn't feel like you're holding your breath, waiting for the next emotional hurricane to roll in. Real love feels like you can exhale. Like you can be your full, messy, loud, weird self and not worry about punishment disguised as feedback. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They downgrade their experiences to make them more palatable. It's not abuse. It's just a little controlling. He's not manipulative. He's just really intense about us. Sweetheart, if you have to water down your truth to make it sound less scary, that's your first sign that it's exactly as serious as you're afraid it is. And let's be real, staying doesn't make you loyal. It makes you stuck. The lesson? Stop calling it toxic love. Call it what it is: abuse. Not because you want to be dramatic, but because you deserve the clarity that sets you free. And that clarity? That's what opens the door to real love, the kind that doesn't demand you shrink, apologize, or compromise your sanity just to keep it. Stick with me, because next, we're going to explore exactly what healthy, empowering love looks like and how to spot it when it finally shows up. And trust me, after everything you've survived, you deserve that kind of love. Let's talk about the heaviest suitcase most of us carry out of a toxic relationship: guilt. And not just any guilt. I'm talking about that sticky, can't shake it off, plays on repeat at 2 a.m. kind of guilt. You know the script. Maybe I should have been more patient. If I had just tried a little harder. What if I'm the one who broke them? First of all, pause, rewind, delete. Let me hit you with a little truth bomb. You didn't break them. They walked into your life carrying their own shattered pieces and handed you the broom like it was your full-time job to fix it. And you? Sweetheart, you were out here trying to be a one-woman, emotional Home Depot, handing out love like duct tape, hoping you could patch it all together. But here's the reality. People are not fixer-uppers. You are not on an episode of emotional HGTV. And you don't need to burn yourself out flipping a broken foundation that wasn't yours to build in the first place. See, victim guilt thrives in silence and shame. It whispers, "You stayed too long. You should have known better. You're smarter than this." But let me ask you, would you ever say that to a friend? Imagine your best friend came to you, completely heartbroken, telling you how someone manipulated, gaslit, and tore them down. Would you say, "Wow, girl, you really should have seen that coming"? No. You'd hug them, pour some wine or a ridiculous amount of ice cream, and remind them that love doesn't mean losing yourself. So why is it so easy to show compassion to everyone except ourselves? Here's the deal. Manipulators are really good at what they do. They don't wear flashing neon signs that say, "Hey, I'm about to ruin your peace." They show up as the solution to your loneliness, your hope in human form. And when it falls apart, they make sure you feel like the villain in a movie they directed. But guess what? You're not the villain. You're not even the side character. You're the freaking lead. And this is just a messy plot twist before the big comeback scene. The lesson isn't, "I should have known better." The real takeaway is, now I do know better. And trust me, that knowledge makes you unstoppable. And if you're still struggling with that guilt, remember, survival is success. You're here, you're healing, and that in itself is a win. So shake off that guilt, or at the very least, set it down for a while. It's heavy, and you got better things to carry. Stick around, because next, we're going to talk about why so many systems courts, therapists, even well-meaning family miss the signs of coercive control, and how you can become an advocate for change, not just for yourself, but for every person still stuck wondering if it's all in their head. Your comeback story is already in motion. Let's make it count. All right, deep breath, because this one's going to sting a little. You'd think that after everything we've learned about toxic relationships, gaslighting, and coercive control, the systems meant to protect us would be right there, cape on, ready to swoop in like emotional avengers. But nope. Turns out the system's over there like, did he hit you? No? Well, maybe just try couples counseling. Excuse me? Ma'am, this man is not confused. He's calculated. And no amount of sitting on a therapist's beige couch sipping herbal tea is going to fix someone who thinks controlling you is a personality trait. Here's the cold, hard truth. The system is still playing catch-up. It understands bruises, broken windows, police reports. What it doesn't always recognize is the invisible prison built out of fear, manipulation, and control. Courtrooms want evidence. Something they can print out, hold up, and say, "Aha, guilty." But how do you print out the nights you cried yourself to sleep because you couldn't figure out why you felt crazy all the time? Try walking into court and explaining how someone systematically dismantled your self-worth, one harmless comment at a time. The judge is sitting there flipping through paperwork, and you're flipping through every moment you second-guessed your own reality. And don't even get me started on the "he's such a great guy" defense. Oh, that's their favorite. He's charming, he volunteers, he once rescued a kitten from a tree. Sure, but behind closed doors, he's emotionally waterboarding his partner with guilt and control. Even some therapists miss it. Yep, I said it. Because if a therapist isn't trauma-informed or doesn't understand coercive dynamics, they'll sit both people down and try to resolve communication issues. Meanwhile, one person is playing chess and the other is playing Jenga on a table that's already collapsing. So what's the solution? We start by using the right words. Stop softening the language. Stop calling it relationship drama or just a rough patch. Call it what it is: emotional abuse, coercive control, psychological manipulation. We educate ourselves. We share resources. We talk about this openly so the next time someone tries to dismiss it, we've got the knowledge to clap back with facts and lived experiences. And if you're someone who's walked through this storm and made it out the other side, don't underestimate the power of your story. Because for every person who still feels trapped and unheard, your story is a reminder that freedom is possible. In the next part, we're going to close this out with a final, powerful reminder. You are not broken. You are not damaged goods. You're a survivor stepping into your comeback era, and believe me, that's the best part of the story. So stay with me, because we're about to end this exactly how you deserve, on a note of hope, power, and limitless confidence. Let me leave you with a little story about a woman named Claire. And before you ask, no, this isn't some friend of a friend story. Claire is real, flesh and blood, Starbucks order too long, sings Beyoncé in the shower kind of woman. For years, Claire lived in a perfectly curated Instagram relationship. You know, the type holiday selfies, just because, flowers, his and hers coffee mugs with matching robes. But what you didn't see, behind every smiling photo was a woman who hadn't made a decision for herself in years. He chose what they ate. He chose which friends they saw, if any. He even suggested she should switch careers because teaching doesn't really suit someone as smart as you. And the scariest part? Claire thought this was love, because no one told her that love shouldn't feel like a performance review you're constantly failing. One day, she sat at that same coffee shop they always went toe alone this time, and she realized something. She couldn't even remember how she liked her coffee. She had spent so long ordering his favorite drink that she forgot her own preferences. That, my friend, was her breaking point, and also her turning point. She walked out of that coffee shop and made one simple decision: to start remembering who she was before the we completely swallowed the me. Fast forward a year, and Claire, she knows exactly how she likes her coffee. No iced, extra vanilla, no compromise. And that simple cup of coffee, it became her daily reminder that she makes her own choices. Now, I don't know what your coffee moment will be. Maybe it's buying a plane ticket. Maybe it's finally going to that dance class. Or maybe it's just looking in the mirror today and saying, I deserve more. Whatever it is, know this: you're not starting over. You're starting new. And that's a beautiful place to be. If this message hit home, take a second, breathe that in. And when you're ready, share this with someone who needs to hear it too. Because trust me, there's a Claire out there right now, still trying to remember how she likes her coffee. And you might just be the person who helps her find that first sip of freedom. This is your time, your comeback era, and you don't need anyone's permission to step fully into it. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, don't forget to order your coffee exactly the way you like it. You've earned it. If no one's told you this lately, you're doing better than you think. And every step you take toward protecting your peace and standing in your worth, that's a win, even if it doesn't feel big right now. If today's video felt like the wake-up call you didn't know you needed, imagine how many people out there are still waiting for their moment. So, if you found even one aha moment today, take a second, hit that subscribe button. Not because I'm asking, but because you deserve a space that reminds you how powerful you really are. Leave me a comment below. What was your favorite breakthrough moment? Or, hey, just drop a like emoji if you're ready to grow through what you've been through. And if someone popped into your mind while watching this, don't hesitate. Share this with them. You never know, your share might just be the spark that lights up someone else's path to freedom. Save this video if you know you'll need a reminder on the hard days. And remember, this isn't just a channel. This is your tribe, your safe space. And I'm so proud of you for being here. Until next time, take a deep breath, walk a little taller, and never ever forget, you are limitless confidence in human form.